Question number 10. How do I acquire customers? That is a very loaded question. And the right answer, the correct answer is it depends. But there are ways to think about this. First, it depends on whether you're direct to consumer in a B2C sense or B2B. So that obviously has a lot to do with how you're going to acquire customers. And the next thing I think is the most important that you may have heard before is KYC, ABC. KYC is know your customer. You have to know your customer in and out. You cannot know your customer too much. And ABC is always be communicating with your customers, right? KYC, ABC. That's what you have to do in that process. So if you're doing that, then you're probably learning about how to acquire customers because you're listening to them. You're finding out where they go, where do they hang out in groups, like what do they do, what motivates them, like what do they read, like all those things you're going to learn if you're KYC, ABC, right? So that's how you start to understand the strategy to acquire customers. And then find people that have the problem. And when I say, let's just say whatever your problem is, find the people that have the biggest issue and or the biggest problem with whatever you're solving. So don't find people that kind of have that problem. Find people that really have that problem, like in a big way. Those are the people you want to be talking to, because if you can target a lot of them, you know they're going to buy because they really have this big issue with the problem you're solving. So find people that really have a high need for your product or service. And last, but definitely not least, is I see this a lot where people founders rely on resellers. Like somebody that's selling another product to someone else, we're gonna resell through XYZ or whatever. That is definitely not a great strategy to start with. It is potentially possible, but it's pretty rare. So you have to rely on your own efforts to sell your product, and especially if it's never been done before. Like it's really hard to sell products that people don't necessarily know right away what it is. So if it's a new product, a new idea, then you have to rely on yourself and don't even waste your time with resellers, especially the early days. So you have to develop channels and things that you're doing and relying on your efforts, not relying on other people's efforts. And I'm not saying that does not work. I'm just saying it does not work consistently, especially at the early stages. It will work. It's depending on if you're an enterprise customer and you have this great enterprise product, maybe you can partner with maybe one of the big consulting firms or something. But you really have to be deeply involved with that partner if you're going to use that channel reseller strategy. It's a really tough strategy to launch, but it can be done. It's inexpensive. So that are my keys on like what strategy you use to acquire a customer. Take care.